Welcome to the High Caliber Podcast. We are Deshaun and Tim.
Fish is missing in action today. Not actually missing in action. We know where Fish is at. He just had a long day of work and was a little too tired to make it this evening, so he told us to go ahead and give it a whirl without him this 1 week, so he should be back next time. I say week, but it could be more, it could be less. Yeah, this is episode number 3. It is Wednesday, September 19th, 2018. About 10:30ish. So we're gonna give this a shot.
So what's up, Tim? What did you do during the week? What movies did you watch? What experiences did you have?
Well, we got lucky yesterday at Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree has some good shit.
We walked in yesterday, and right inside the front door in the little, hot items area, they had a bunch of DVDs, and I always go through them. And actually, I would say probably about half the time I find something in there that I actually like.
And pretty decent, yeah.
And want to get. And yesterday we found a couple of DC comic movies. We found Justice League Adventures, Trapped in Time, and Justice League
Flashpoint Paradox.
So both for $1, both well worth the $1 we paid for them. I would say that Flashpoint was probably a little better than Trapped in Time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mostly because Trapped in Time had one character that was just a complete moron.
2 characters.
Oh yeah, 2, but the one was
the one who fucked up the word hardest because he started everything. Yeah.
So we got both of those and watched them. I happened to watch another movie called Crossworlds with Rutger Hauer and an unfortunate, I wouldn't quite say cameo because he wasn't famous yet, but an unfortunate 5-minute appearance from Jack Black. I personally am not a huge fan.
He actually just got a star on Hollywood today.
Jack Black,
yeah.
Okay. All right. So I guess Adam Sandler will be next.
I think Adam Sandler already has one.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
And is it like the shitty walk or something?
I think they're getting to all the actors that kind of
there's
shitty.
Like an alleyway that runs down behind there.
Yeah. No, I think they're getting to all the lesser actors now.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to absolutely just destroy Jack Black. I do like some of the movies he's in. But there are very few movies that are considered Jack Black movies that I enjoy.
I liked him in High Fidelity.
I liked High Fidelity.
Which is weird because I hated High Fidelity.
I like him in School of Rock.
Yeah, that's where I first ever saw him.
And Nacho Libre. But besides that, any other movies that are like Jack Black movies, I've just never been able to do. Do him in small doses. But when he's not playing the over-the-top, kind of screaming.
Annoying, loud.
Yeah, that's what he was in this movie, because he was in his early 20s, so young.
I like him in Shallow Hal, too, because he does a lot of that. He's kind of laid back more in that movie.
Yeah, a little bit. I've only seen bits and pieces of that one, but it wasn't overly interesting to me. But so I guess we can start with the DC movies. Trapped in Time was basically Bat Boy, or what is it?
Batman, Robin, Superman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Flash,
right. And Karate Kid.
Yeah, and then Karate Kid and
Dawnstar, which not Danielson.
Yeah. Karate Kid I didn't know about, but Fish knew about him because apparently he has the #1 Karate Kid issue, which is weird to me.
Issue, yeah.
So it's weird. I'm the big comic book guy, but I've never fucking heard of this character, and Fish just happens to have issue #1. So I'm glad he was able to fill in that hole for me. I don't know who the fuck Dawnstar is. Well, when I looked at on the cover of the actual DVD itself, DVD case, I thought it was Hawk Girl because she has wings like Hawk Girl.
All right.
But it's some chick named Dawnstar who I've never heard of.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but I bet Fish probably just bought that issue because it was issue #1.
Probably, yeah.
Hey, let's see what this is, and if the character in the comic book is as dumb as the one in the movie, then there's probably a good reason why issue #1 is the only one that he has.
He was dumb, but he was whooping some ass though. He beat the shit out of 4 or 5, 3 villains at once, I think.
That just makes him more of a dumbass.
Yeah, because it's how are you so tough but you're retarded?
Yeah, it's Yeah, just the really, really stupid decisions he kept making. That's the thing. It's like the Harry Potter movies. They're kind of like, what are they, teenagers probably?
They're like, because he's like 17, 18 by the end of the series. So he's like 10 at the start, and then by the end, he's
in
like
the movie, you
18.
say they're probably like 17, 18, something like that. 16 to 18.
Like the actors?
No, the characters.
Oh, yeah, like like teenagers.
Yeah, but yeah. So you get that there's a little bit of stupidity there,
but like, but breaking a block of ice and freeing the greatest villain that the world's ever known, just because you could.
Right.
Like,
well, at the very beginning, where all she had to do was like shoot him with her little eye.
Right when he was escaping, do a portal,
and
time
was
portal.
over. Like I was saying, it goes back to like the Harry Potter thing, to where it's like, had they just gone to Superman and Batman and like, hey, we just ran into these people with some crazy technology. You need to get over here and like help us out.
Right.
But instead, they try to take it all on themselves, and Karate Kid,
fucks it all up.
yeah,
frees
gets all
Luthor.
fucked up. Because he like frees Lex Luthor, and then like there's the one point when was it him or somebody had the chance to destroy like the machine or whatever, and instead of destroying, or it was Cyborg. He gets to there's the machine, like if he can destroy the machine, it stops everything, like foils their plan. And instead of just blowing it up, he goes over and tries to like dial into, like plug himself into it and figure it all out how to shut it off. And in the meantime, he fucks it. It doesn't work, and their plan gets to keep going.
Yeah.
Which of course they foil their plan anyway because it's a DC movie. But the whole point was that why try taking the time to figure out how it works? Just blow it up and be done with it. But,
because after that, like they shut down. Like they were like basically it's the Legion of Doom versus the Justice League, and the Legion of Doom has Captain Cold on the team, and he has these giant satellites that shoot ice down onto the planet, and they're trying to. What are they trying to do? They're trying to like freeze the planet or something and take it hostage. Whatever.
No, they're doing something else to it. And the freeze guy accidentally he puts his shit to the satellite.
He makes it too
which
powerful.
Freezes like the whole planet, everybody on it. Yeah.
So Lex Luthor gets caught in one of the blasts. Like the Legion of Doom is defeated. Lex Luthor gets caught in the blast.
That's the one we watched where Lex Luthor's like that's the other one where he was a paraplegic.
That was Gods and Monsters.
Gods and Monsters, yeah.
So yeah, Lex Luthor gets trapped in ice for what was it like 800 years,
something like that. All he said is almost 1,000 years.
Yeah,
it was like 930 or something.
Right,
like
it was
that,
not like exactly 1,000.
Yeah, it wasn't an even number at all. It was a very odd number of years, but and I don't think they ever actually gave like the actual first year or the last year. But you could ballpark it where it's somewhere around 900 years or something. Yeah.
So Lex is frozen, and the block of ice he's frozen in is on display at this museum. Like it's on, I believe it's the Hall of Justice they're at, but it's the Hall of Justice.
It's a Hall of Justice museum,
right? Yeah. So they've got all this villain shit in there: Black Manta's helmet, Captain Cold's outfit, Gorilla Grodd's stuffed corpse, which is weird because he's not just like a dumb gorilla; he's like a sentient being.
Right? Yeah, do like stuffing an actual person and like putting them in there.
So.
But then the main attraction is this huge block of ice.
Yeah.
That's being kept cold by this computer.
And the plaque says Lex Luthor, the world's greatest villain.
Yep.
And so Dawnstar and Karate Kid are exploring the museum. There's a big statue of Superman they're staring at. Then they go to the room where all the villain shit is, and they see Lex Luthor's little spot. And Karate Kid's bitching and whining because I think he was mad that he wasn't on part of the team or something, or people didn't believe him or whatever. Didn't really matter because it was dumb.
Like that. Yeah, it was bitching and moaning, so I wasn't paying a lot of attention, unfortunately.
So he turns on his Sharingan and sees the weakness in the ice that Lex Luthor is trapped in, and he goes to punch it for some reason. You know why? Because he was like, "What if I freed him and took down the biggest baddie, and then people take me seriously?"
Right? Yeah.
But and then Dawnstar at first isn't going to stop him, but when he runs up to do it, she's like, "No, don't do it!" At the last second,
just stupid.
Yeah,
and then he goes up, and starts to punch it.
But he stops like an inch away.
Well, he says he stops
an
inch away, but in the video he clearly punches the damn thing.
Well, his his
little like force
wave,
chi or whatever it is. Yeah.
So he hits that, and it frees. Oh, it doesn't free him at first. They leave, but then the ice starts cracking, and then Lex Luthor just falls out. And he steals Captain Cold's gun because when the ice broke and fell out and knocked over all the other exhibits, picks up Captain Cold's gun, and steals this magic hourglass that frees the Time Trapper. Now, this is where I got hyped for the movie, because this is like...
I have no idea who Time Trapper is.
Time Trapper, as I explained before, is a weirdly obscure Legion of Superheroes villain. And it's pretty cool that they used him, because he's one of those guys that you wouldn't expect them to pull out for a movie. But Lex Luthor gets the Time Trapper. The Time Trapper comes out and is like... He summons the Time Trapper by turning the hourglass upside down. And that basically, it doesn't free the Time Trapper, but the Time Trapper comes out of the hourglass.
Yeah, he comes out like he's tethered to it with chains. So it's kind of like a genie into his lamp, I suppose.
So the Time Trapper is like, I'll grant you any wish or whatever. So basically, Lex Luthor tells him to take him back to his time. So they open a portal, and Karate Kid and Dawnstar are frozen at this point. Because remember, Lex Luthor stole Captain Cold's gun, so he used it on them. Dawnstar frees herself a little bit, and as Lex Luthor is escaping into the portal,
she frees her head.
She has the opportunity to shoot him and stop him, but instead she frees Karate Kid.
Even he says something about why the hell didn't you?
Even he's like, why didn't you stop him? Yeah. So
she said something about lacking the courage or being scared or something like that.
Which I don't know why you would be. Just shoot him in the back,
right? I mean, just shoot anybody, period.
Right.
I mean, especially if it's like, you just read something that said it's the world's most evil.
Right. So stopping this guy is like imperative. But so Lex Luthor escapes because Dawnstar pushes out. So Dawnstar and Karate Kid follow him back to the past.
Yeah, through the portal.
Yeah. And they end up going to the Hall of Justice because they know that's where the Justice League is. They catch a cab with a guy, which I thought this was going to pay off in the movie, but it never did. Remember when she blessed his taxi after they didn't pay?
Yeah.
So
well, it's funny as shit because she blesses his taxi. It's just like the fucking story that Bill Murray's character tells in Caddyshack when he's got the pitchfork up against the kid's throat and he's like telling him a story about how he caddied for the Dalai Lama one time and that at the end he was going to stiff him for a tip, but then he was like, I'm not going to tip you, but I'm going to bless you so you will have total enlightenment when you pass on. He's like, so I got that going for me. And literally, she says like the exact same shit to this guy.
I'm gonna cast a prayer of protection over you or whatever.
Because they're like, he's like, where you guys going? You owe me like $35, and they're like, money? What's money?
Yeah, they're like, we don't have these greenbacks you speak of.
And so she's like, well, I'm gonna bless you, and so she like blesses him, and his whole cab gets this like gold aura and flies away.
It just flies off, and he's like, what do you say? Says something like, I can't stand you freaks or whatever. So, but the funny thing, the cabbie knew they were going to the Hall of Justice because they look like they're dressed up like superheroes. So he's like, I know exactly where you're going. So
because they're like, where can we find the Hall of Justice? And this cabbie just comes up and goes, you guys need a ride?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but he's like, oh,
but they think they ask for a teleportation pod.
Yeah, they think he's teleporting them when they're just driving around
so
town.
When they get stuck in traffic, they're like, this is like the longest teleportation pod I've ever been in.
Yeah.
So they stiff the cabbie. They go into the Hall of Justice. They don't use a door though. What do they do, Tim?
They blow a hole in the damn wall of the Hall of Justice. Robin, you're back in time. People don't know who the fuck you are.
Robin is sitting on a big computer, kind of just fucking around.
Is it Robin or is it?
It's Robin.
Okay,
it's Robin. Remember he beats the shit out of both of them.
Yeah, I knew that, but I couldn't remember if he was actually as Robin or if it was as like
whichever
his other alias or whatever.
Whichever one is Dick or Tim or Jason.
Although I thought you remember at one point you said you thought you heard him call him Tim, but
I thought I heard him say Tim. And the way this Robin acts is a lot like Tim Drake, but he's also a lot like all the Robins because all the Robins have like the kind of goofy, I joke around a lot personality. But
except for at the beginning when they blow a hole in the wall.
So they blow a hole in this fucking wall. Robin's just sitting there minding his own business. He's surprised by these two freaks. I think he's
watching porn on his tablet. Looked like
he said he was gonna play a video game, but I forget which one to say. He was gonna like grind for something. It's very generic video game speak. That was supposed to be like, ooh, he's a gamer. But fucking Dawnstar and Karate Kid just blow a hole in the wall. Robin's like, what the fuck? And they start fighting. Because he's like, who else would try to blow up the fucking wall?
Yeah, they're all like shocked, like, why are they fighting this and shit? Yeah. You just blew a hole in the wall, and you're dressed like, meta-human,
Right.
or whatever you want to call it. So it's like,
At
come
one
on.
point, even fucking Dawnstar is like, you need to learn how to greet your guests or whatever. And it's like, bitch, you blew a hole in the wall.
It's like exactly what I said.
So it's like, what? All right. So that's all cool. Not really, but they get into it. Karate Kid ends up being pretty tough. Dawnstar, I mean, what does she even really do? She shoots. She doesn't even shoot her little bolt things.
She flies around. She doesn't shoot in that fight. No, all she does is really fly around.
At the very end of the fight, she like slaps him.
Yeah,
Like, she just gets to...
Yeah, but then, of course, the rest of the Justice League show
Right,
up.
they show up because they're like, who the fuck is blowing up the Hall of Justice?
Right, yeah.
So they show up and it's all a misunderstanding, of course. They explain what's going on. What happens after that? I'm kind of blanking on what happens right after that. Oh, I think Lex Luthor goes back to the Legion of Doom base. So this Legion of Doom team is Cheetah, Bizarro, Gorilla Grodd, Black Manta, Captain Cold, Solomon Grundy, and Toyman. This is like the worst Toyman iteration too, because it's just like a dumb wooden doll. The best one is in we'll have to watch it someday, but the best one is in Justice League, the animated series, because he's like a real man's body, but he has a plastic head for some reason, you know. But he's like a little boy, and he's weird as fuck. 'Cause the plastic head's like the mouth doesn't move, the eyes don't move.
Is the head similar to the one he's wearing in this one? Like
No, the head's like
Dexter's head?
the head's just like a regular like a doll head.
Because that reminded me, the Toyman reminded me of a character from something else.
He does look like another
I
character.
can't remember.
It's
couldn't
weird.
remember where I'd seen it or who it was, but yeah, he goes back to the like Legion of Doom. Lex does,
and he's got the time trapper, and he's like, they mentioned that Gorilla Grodd, Captain Cold, and Black Manta still haven't shown back up because he called them all together and they didn't show up. So he's like, fuck them, we don't need them. We got the time trapper now. And can I say one thing about this little movie? I had missed it somehow. But like the animation and art was like really
this
good.
is like without question. I mean, because we were at Dollar Tree and he was like, I don't know that one, and I was like, what? Because usually when it comes to comic book movies, and whether it's Marvel or DC, he's usually seen it or at least a couple times.
Yeah.
And knows,
or at the very least, I know it exists. This was just like I had no fucking clue, So it's like it was really well animated. The voice acting was really good. They used the time trapper, like. It's like all this stuff that's like there's a lot of love put into it, but I just didn't hear anything about it.
I remember you saying you liked, because at first we were like, man, this animation is kind of shitty.
Right, it was really stiff.
And then they started like that fight scene with Karate Kid and Robin with his staff.
It started to pick up there.
We were both just like, oh man, that's why the original animation was shitty, because they saved all the good animation for the fight scene.
Which they do a lot, yeah. So it's totally understandable.
But yeah, so I mean, so anybody out there listening that shops at Dollar Tree, don't hesitate to go through the DVDs when they got them.
And 100%, I know everybody's kind of on the Marvel train right now, but when it comes to like the animated stuff, DC kills Marvel like all the time, especially their animated movies.
Well, you found the first 2 seasons of Digimon?
No, I found
like Volume 1 and Volume 2.
Yeah, it's all the first season, but I found Volume 1 and Volume 3. They didn't have Volume 2, but I hope maybe we can go back and find it.
Right, you never know what they're going to have.
Yeah, they might just
and I also got a Blu-ray of Pink Panther 2. Has 3 discs, the regular Blu-ray copy, the digital copy, and then the third disc has 27 of the original Pink Panther cartoons on it, which is why I bought the DVD. I've never actually seen the movie. I like the original Pink Panthers with, I'm blanking it now, back in like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
But I saw the first Steve Martin one and just didn't think it was funny at all. But I like Steve Martin. I just didn't like that one for some reason, so I never saw the second one. But I'll probably watch it now that I have it at some point. But I guarantee you I'll watch those cartoons before I watch the movie.
I think it was the first one, like when it first came out, I remember a bunch of kids all going hamburger.
Peter Sellers. Because
he said like hamburger weird in the first one.
Hamburger,
yeah. Kids would not stop saying it. I was like, shut up.
Because the first one's like that to a point, but like there's a part where he's like, I use the fin.
Yeah,
or little stuff like that.
It's like, ooh, my accent isn't so dumb.
Because he's French,
but which is like, okay, whatever, it's so typical.
But so he would just say things. But anyway, back to.
So they got the time. So Lex Luthor has a time trapper now, and he's giving new orders. So basically, their plan is to go back in time. Oh, but also the time trapper is like, all right, I fulfilled your wish. Now free me. And Lex Luthor is like, nah, fuck that. I'm in total control of you. You're gonna be working for me. You're gonna be working for me on a more permanent basis. So,
which I was a little surprised that there was no like. I mean, he didn't even try to fight it. He just like, kind of accepted it.
Okay.
Like, well, I guess there's nothing.
Well, no, he did, but he did say later on.
He tells him he's gonna fuck him up later.
Later on, he's like, time will, what is it?
Like catch up to your.
It's like time will address all grievances or something like that.
Yeah.
So
and he was like, it's I control time.
Right. Yeah. So basically, their plan is to go back in time and stop Superman from being found by the Kents, because apparently Lex Luthor in this universe knows that Superman's Clark Kent. There's just no explanation how or why. He just knows. So, which to me is like, how would he ever be able to lead a regular life at that point?
Oh, but doesn't Lex Luthor find out at some point in the current universe that he's Clark Kent, or no?
Well, I think there's like some where, yeah, he knows.
Because he goes back, because this is a Lex that goes back in time.
Yeah.
So maybe he found out about sometime in the like future time, and then so he used that knowledge, or I don't know.
How maybe we find out?
Or maybe it had something to do with like.
It might be something we missed.
Or maybe. Well, did they show? I don't remember. Did they show up like as it crashed, or right after? Right.
They show up like right after it crashed. Like I almost said Thomas and Martha, but
so maybe it had something to do with like maybe he read something about like the meteorite crash. He's like, oh, well, that's Superman.
It must be. But I guess, but wouldn't he know about it before then?
I mean, well, maybe he knew about the meteorite.
Because to me, Lex Luthor's whole beef with Superman is that he's not human and that he's doing shit for humans, and that he's this pinnacle of humanity, like the pinnacle image of what humanity should be. And
he doesn't believe that Superman is truly good.
Right, because no one with that much power to him can be truly good.
He just assumed that at some point he's going to go evil and take over the world.
But he's also just extremely jealous of him, which what I was saying, like, I don't get how he could know he's Clark Kent and then also not immediately expose him to the world.
Yeah, so maybe we missed that at some point. But anyway, either way, he knows that Clark Kent is Superman. So his goal is to go back in time and stop the Kents from getting Superman, getting the baby,
and raising him. Because without Superman, there's apparently no Justice League.
Yeah, somehow.
So, yeah, which doesn't make sense because all those heroes would still exist.
All the other heroes would still exist.
As we saw in Flashpoint.
Right.
So,
so they go back and they kidnap the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And Justice League, of course, fights him, and Flash grabs the baby and takes it back and gives it to the Kents. And then just runs away. And the Kents are all happy for a second, and they look inside the bundle, and it's a bomb, and blows them up.
No, it wasn't a bomb. It was just one of Toy Man's little toys.
Didn't it blow them up though?
No, it was just creepy, and they screamed, and that was it. It just cut away. Well, no, because I said, and then it's a bomb, and it blew up because I wanted it to be a bomb.
Okay, yeah.
So how they capture Superman? They put him back in the little ship. And Bizarro throws him into space.
Yeah,
and that's it. It was very funny. It was really weird.
But that's perfect though. That's what I always said about the Batman versus Superman thing. When it really came down to it, Batman just grabbed Superman just grabbed Batman by the foot, got him into space, and like bye bye. It's over.
That's literally what he does to Doomsday in Batman versus Superman. He fucking punches him into space.
So that part's perfect.
Yeah.
But basically their plan works because. They thought they got the baby back, but they didn't take the chance. They didn't bother to look. Flash didn't bother to look inside the bundle and see that it was actually the baby.
Oh, we didn't talk about how they tried to steal the baby from the Kents the first time. Cheetah and Solomon Grundy come dressed up as like these yokels, these hicks, and like these regular clothes, pretending to be Clark's parents or Superman's parents.
Which you could maybe get from Solomon Grundy because kind of a human,
he's just huge,
a zombie and huge. But
Cheetah is a cat woman. Yeah, she's got fur. And,
literally, and it shows like her yellow fur and her tail and her spots and like her cat teeth and all that shit while she's talking. But then they're of course they're just dumb yokels like Deshaun. So they're like, oh well, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so they just hand the baby off. But even in their car, they're like, when they're driving away later, they're like that. Didn't seem right.
So, it only took them like 20 minutes to figure out something wasn't right about that.
But Grundy is just like, nothing to see here. Get back in your car. Go on your way or whatever. But so since the Legion of Doom threw Superman back into space as a baby. In the present day, Superman...
While all this is going on, most of the rest of the Justice League is at the Legion of Doom fighting Luthor.
Because who is it? It's Aquaman, Flash, and think Cyborg go back in time to stop them from kidnapping Superman.
So it's the three of them, and then the Karate Kid and
Dawnstar.
Dawnstar. They're
Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, and Dawnstar and Karate Kid go straight to the Legion of Doom's base to stop Lex Luthor.
So that's what they're doing while Lex Luthor is preventing Martha and whatever. Jonathan from becoming his parents.
So Lex Luthor uses the Time Trapper to trap Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Dawnstar, and Karate Kid in place with some weird shield. Superman's fighting back because he's the toughest, but as that's happening, he starts fading, and the Time Trapper is like, "You are no longer within the time stream," or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So he makes.
You said you no longer belong in this time.
So now I have power over you.
So now I have power over you.
So he makes him disappear.
He fucking literally turns him into like ash.
Yeah, So he just makes him disappear, and then
he was like, because Superman no longer belongs in this time period.
Justice League don't.
The Justice longer, and he makes all the rest of the fucking Justice League disappear.
Somehow Karate Kid and Dawnstar escaped though.
They got knocked out of the building or something while they were fighting.
Then they ran.
So they weren't there.
They hid behind a tree while all this was going down.
And so and so they decide should we go back or should we not?
Yeah. They also show Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman vanishing in the past also. So what else? What happens after that? Dawnstar and Karate Kid go hide in some sewers, and they give each other a little pep talk where they're like, "Man, we sure are fucking morons releasing Lex Luthor and fucking everything up." But then they're like, she literally says it doesn't matter or something like that. That because he was afraid to go back because he knew that the Time Trapper would just kill them instantly. But she's like, it doesn't matter. We have to go stop them. And then they get there, and she's
like, don't have a choice yet.
And then now all of a sudden she's like recklessly brave. Right. Now she's like, I'm willing to go down. But then 10 seconds later, when well, I guess I'll explain it later. But she's like, she goes from being recklessly brave to being all afraid again for no reason out of nowhere, as if her little pep talk didn't happen.
Right.
So they manage how they bring the Justice League back. They unfreeze Lex Luthor in the past.
Yeah.
So they go back to the frozen tundra where Lex Luthor was. They find
where he actually froze the first time.
Right.
Not like in the museum, but that's the different time
frame. Karate Kid and Dawnstar find
he or she that has the ability
she can sense them. Yeah. Dawnstar. Yeah. So they go and they find Gorilla Grodd, Black Manta, and Captain Cold.
Well, they don't find them. They're out there looking, and then
I was gonna say they find them there
because they're still there trying to they're still in that time period trying to find Lex
exactly
because they know he got frozen.
That's why they didn't show up at the meeting because they were looking for him still, which is weird because Captain Cold says some shit like he's honor bound to Lex, I'm gonna find him because we owe it to him, and I'm like, why? Yeah. You shouldn't give a shit about Lex Luthor, you're Captain Cold. So Gorilla Grodd in the Justice League animated series, Gorilla Grodd took control of the Legion of Doom from Lex Luthor, he hated him, and they bumped heads. And Black Manta really shouldn't give a fuck. He's got other shit going on, But anyway, they fight Karate Kid and Dawnstar while they're looking for Lex Luthor. Dawnstar and Karate Kid try to do some. This is a bit that I did like. They try to get the villains to work with them.
Yeah.
They're like, you won't find them unless you help us or whatever. And Gorilla Grodd's like, nah, we'll just kill you. Yeah. I really appreciate that because I was like, oh, they're not gonna team up with these guys, are they? So, but they don't team up. Karate Kid beats the shit out of Gorilla Grodd, Black Manta, and Captain Cold. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. And then when she figures out where Lex Luthor is, he's right underneath them. So Karate Kid uses his powers to break the ice, free Lex Luthor. They free Lex Luthor, knock out Black Manta, Gorilla Grodd, and Captain Cold.
Which means the Lex Luthor from the current time is back.
Yeah.
And so the Lex Luthor that has control over the Time Trapper
is outside of time.
No longer belongs in that time frame. And so the Time Trapper realizes this, and of course Lex Luthor has no idea. Yeah. And so he basically tells him, he tells him that basically the other somebody, I don't know if he uses them by name, basically says the two kids have changed the timeline. You no longer belong here, and he makes Lex disappear.
Yep. and now he's free.
Yeah, and then he's free, and he's fucking crazy powerful.
So, because he's like, now I'm going to like cast the world in darkness or some shit. No real reason given. He's just gonna do it, you know. Which I know, someone like me knows the Time Trapper's an old school Legion villain, but you know, somebody just watching this like you, just there's no, you don't know the reason why. But so he's like destroying the fuck out of the Earth or whatever. He's made like this giant time portal. It's just sucking everything in. And so Dawnstar and Karate Kid go to stop him, and they figure out so Karate Kid has the ability to see the weaknesses in things. So he's looking at Time Trapper, and he's like, I don't see anything.
He's pure energy.
Yeah, pure energy. He's like dark matter. Yeah. And he's like, the only person that can stop him is you, Dawnstar, because she has like light arrows.
She has this ability to like. Well, she has this ability to just put off this like aura of like crazy bright, like I guess like holy light kind of thing.
So what even happens after that? Like, I know she starts, because that's where she starts doubting herself.
I'm also trying to remember how that brought back the Justice League.
So
did they just like reappear when Lex disappeared?
Yeah, because he never.
That's right, because he never had the chance to make them disappear because he hadn't been there.
Yeah, because he basically got freed in the past, so he was never frozen, so he didn't go back. So
because at one point, like even Superman and Wonder Woman are getting sucked into the.
Everybody gets sucked in.
The time thing.
Yeah, because Wonder Woman charges in at the Time Trapper to beat him, and he just blasts her with a laser, and she gets sucked into the time portal. And Superman goes to save her.
And then he tries to come out, and he gets sucked in.
And then Batman, because he's
Superman,
Batman,
has to eject his plasma core and explode it to give him enough speed to get out.
But
sorry, that's Star Trek.
Yeah, but so Batman goes to do something, I don't remember what, because they don't really use Batman that much in this movie, but because he's Batman, he doesn't get sucked in. I think Robin helps him out. I don't remember what she does. She like blasts the Time Trapper, I think, with a laser, and it distracts him, and that gives the Justice League an opportunity to just beat the fuck out of him now, because like it's like Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman kind of just, they not really pile on him, but they take turns just whipping his ass.
She uses her light for something.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. She like, because it really didn't matter, because it at the end of the day, the Justice League,
I think her light just made him vulnerable. Yeah, they were able to kick the shit out of him.
Because then Batman beats on him a little bit, and then Wonder Woman comes out of the portal and beats on him a little bit. The Superman punches him once, and it's over.
Yeah. So
it was, and they actually end up showing the Time Trapper's face during this, because for most of the movie, he's like, he's got like a hood over his face. It's actually kind of
like the Grim Reaper the whole time, basically.
And so they whoop his ass, and they pick up the hourglass and re-trap him. And so at the end of the movie, Karate Kid and Dawnstar are talking to the main three Justice Leaguers, and Superman's like, man, it'd be really nice if you could stay. And they're like, nah, we gotta go back to our own time. So they use the hourglass that the Time Trapper is trapped in, but he's so salty that he doesn't even come out of the hourglass.
Yeah, it's like, they use it again. Like every time somebody used it, he comes out and he's in his chains, and he's like, what do you want?
He talks to him.
Like this time, they're like, send us home. And literally, like this portal just comes like out of the thing. He's like, fuck y'all. You just put me in here. I'm not even gonna bless you with my presence.
Yeah, he's like, fuck that. I'm gonna stay in here. Well, that was funny, but
overall, I mean, it's a good flick. Yeah. I enjoy it. I would recommend it for anybody that's into that kind of stuff. I know very little about the comics. I learn more and more, but what I learn is just from watching the movies. That's just kind of how I plan to keep it, because there's way too much comic shit to ever try to read and catch up.
Like the crazy thing is, like DC stuff, and I don't want to get this to like a Marvel versus DC thing or whatever. When it comes to like their movies, like their animated stuff, like DC's movies, even like their dumbest, like goofiest shit, like Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay. That's like goofy over the top.
That's the thing. Like all of the DC cartoon stuff I've seen, which isn't a lot. I've seen all the movies we've talked about so far. A couple others I don't think we have talked about because we watched them way before any of the cast. But I watched a decent amount of Batman Beyond, the cartoon, which I thought was really awesome. And then what's the other one that I watched? I think it was another Batman one.
Was it Batman the Animated Series?
I made this movie. Yeah, just the generic Batman.
That's like the best like superhero animated thing ever.
But I mean, I've never seen. I haven't seen a bunch, but at least a handful of episodes of each. Batman Beyond more.
Yeah.
Because he used to be on before or after something else I watched like every week or whatever. And so I would go ahead and watch that too. But never anything from beginning to end. But yeah, everything I've ever seen I've enjoyed and thought it's usually for a cartoon fairly gritty and has the serious side with the comedic, and then I've seen very, very little of anything Marvel. The only thing I've seen Marvel cartoon wise is the what was the old it was really good though, the X-Men cartoon that was on after the
like
Tick.
The 90s X-Men cartoon, yeah. Like they have like X-Men stuff, like X-Men Evolution, X-Men the X-Men anime series. Those are really good. But there's not a lot of like really good Marvel anime stuff. Like their movies are almost always just terrible. They have like one or two that are like Planet Hulk, really good. Like Hulk versus, really good. That's
I know that like Disney XD's got a couple of different ones. They've got a Guardians of the Galaxy. And I don't know if the other one is Justice League or if it's Avengers.
It's Avengers, yeah, it's Marvel, yeah.
Both Marvel. I guess it's Marvel.
There have been like 3 different Avengers shows on XD because they couldn't get it right for a long time. And there was also like anything good they have, they fucking cancel. Like Spider-Man, there's a spectacular Spider-Man animated series that was really, really good that they canceled.
Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah,
we got an amazing Spider-Man and a spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah, because they got to get use out of those adjectives or whatever.
What about just your everyday friendly, your neighborhood?
I'm pretty sure there's a comic book called Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. It's like more aimed at kids, I think.
Morgan Freeman.
The best Spider-Man.
Without question.
Yeah, like all like for Marvel, they have stuff like Iron Man, Rise of the Technovore, which I fell asleep during. They have like a Punisher Black Widow movie where I think Hawkeye shows up. It sucks. They have like Blade, which is like an anime. They have a Blade anime that sucks. They have an X-Men anime that sucks.
Yeah, Blade anime seemed like it would be really cool.
It just sucked. It was poorly executed. What else? Like most stuff's kind of just boring, really.
Because I've not seen much as far as just cartoons. I've never seen any of the ones I mentioned on Disney XD.
So you never saw like the Spider-Man anime series, huh? I don't think so. One from the 90s.
I mean, I've probably seen it here and there, but I don't have to know much about it. So
it's you know what it is? It's like it's an iconic show. Like it has like the moments that you're like, yeah, Spider-Man, but at the same time, a lot of the acting is bad. A lot of the characterizations are weird. But I mean, a lot of it was iconic. Like it established that the symbiote suit, the black suit that Spider-Man has, it makes him stronger. In the comics, they never did that originally. It was just like extra. It was like infinite webbing.
I always thought that the black suit that he had was Venom.
It is. It's the black suit is the symbiote that creates Venom, and it's because he rejects it later on. That's how it becomes Venom. But that established that it makes him stronger. And there's some other stuff too, but overall, I mean, it's not like fantastic or anything. Like DC kind of kills it when it comes to anime and stuff. And I think that's just because Warner Brothers just lets them do whatever the fuck they want. Like they have people who really want to do this, and one of the names we saw on Flashpoint was Andrea Romano. Mm-hmm. She does like all of like. Not all of Warner Brothers like voice acting stuff, but she's the voice acting coordinator. She casts voice actors and stuff. So she'll get a lot of the same people, but it's people who've been doing these characters for like 10, 15 years, so it's
I kind of like that when it comes to continuity, when you can use the same voice actors for the
like
same
I mentioned Kevin Conroy.
I
mentioned Kevin Conroy for Flashpoint Paradox. He was Batman in the animated series and in Batman Beyond, and in Justice League,
Because in the
Arkham games.
Is in the Lost in Time, Trapped in Time, Edric Bader.
Oh yeah,
Batman, which I had heard somewhere before, and Fish said the same thing. But I have a hard time hearing that voice and not just thinking of like his character from the Drew Carey show, or because he played Jethro in the Beverly Hillbillies movie. Everything I've ever seen from him has been comedic.
Yeah,
so I have a hard time like thinking of him as Batman.
Well, he plays
taking it seriously.
Batman the Brave and the Bold animated series, which is more like a campy '60s style show almost, where it's a lot of the sillier aspects, like the Adam West type shit. It's more of that. Right. So, it's a really good show. That show also gets into crazy DC like lore that that's like inside shit.
What's who plays his voice in the Lego thing?
Oh yeah. It's BoJack Horseman's voice actor, I believe.
Oh, what?
Yeah. He was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Bay Turtles one with Megan Fox. Will Arnett, that's his name.
The Transformers.
Transformers.
The Transformers. Turtles.
Yeah, Will Arnett. I still haven't seen Lego Batman.
It was really boring.
Really, but everybody tells me it's amazing. So maybe I'll like it more since I'm into the comic book shit.
Maybe if we can sit here and watch it at some point, I may change my mind.
Yeah,
I think I actually watched it in the theater when it came out.
Yeah.
I just, I thought it was really kiddie. It was just wasn't very much.
That's why I didn't like the Lego movie.
Adult humor. Yeah, I thought the Lego movie was kind of boring.
Yeah, I was like this. Yeah, Lego movie to me is like there's too much like kiddie shit going on, too much like dumb baby jokes. Like it's just like and like people were like, oh, the songs and like the message of it were good. I'm like, yeah, if you're fucking 6, so
Everything is awesome.
Right. And then like they do everything is awesome, and then like later on in the movie there's like a somber version of it, and people are like, oh, it's so deep because it means everything was a lie and it's not awesome, blah blah. It's like, no shit, that's the point in the movie. Like it's the low point of the movie. Like that's of course that's what it means. People pointing out like obvious shit as if it's deep, and no, it's just not that good of a movie.
No, anybody that can hear and tell that I've been kind of munching on something.
Oh, these are crazy, dude.
Called Divinity. It's kind of funny. The story when I was a kid, it's supposedly, I guess, really hard to make. It's a candy kind of, but best way I could explain it would be like if you had like a vanilla like cake icing, just like a Duncan Hines or Betty Crocker that you would just get right out of one of the cans. Like if it sits out and like if you leave the container open, it kind of gels up. Almost hardens, and that's kind of the consistency of it, and it's got like a vanilla flavor to it, and it's white. I've never seen any other colors. There may be other colors and flavors, I don't know. But when I was a kid, one of my friends' moms, she was also a good friend of my mom, could make it, made it really well, and she's like the only person I ever knew that made it. And after I moved out, after we grew up and stuff like that, and didn't hang out with him anymore, and that kind of thing, and my mom and his mom didn't hang out as much. I didn't have it for years, and then several years ago, not long after I moved to Indianapolis, went to Cracker Barrel, and they have the really cool like gift shop out front that has all the country stuff and different candies and that kind of thing, and they had the Divinity in there, and I hadn't had it in probably 15 to 20 years at that point, and so I grabbed a thing of it, and it was just like I remembered it. They call it pecan Divinity because it's in little, they're probably about big around as a quarter and maybe like 3/4, half-inch thick. Got little pecans in the top. But I was sitting here one time trying to explain it to Deshaun and probably Fish, and I asked them if they'd ever had it, and they said no, never heard of it. And so I was trying to explain it, and I'm like, well, it's candy, but it's really not a candy because, a lot of times you think it's candy as a hard candy or a candy bar, and this is just, I don't know. I guess I still can't really explain it. But so we had to go to Lowe's yesterday, and as we were pulling out of Lowe's, I remembered there's a Cracker Barrel right there. And I was like, man, let's go in there real quick and see if they've got any of the Divinity. So we go in, and we find this big old bar that's like the size of one of the like the almost foot long like Rice Krispie treats you'd get at the gas station or something. About that size, but it was Divinity, and it had like the crushed pecans all over the top of it. So I saw that, but I was like, that's not what I remember getting. I used to get a little plastic container that had like 10 or 12 with a little like just kind of balls of it, and I finally found it, and so I buy it, and I as soon as we get outside, I open it up and I eat one. I give one to Sean, and he just like eats it. I'm like, man, this is really good. But he's like, what is it? And I'm like, see, exactly. It's like you can't explain what it is. It's it is hard to explain. So Deshaun, explain it. What is it?
So our ingredients here are sugar, corn syrup, pecans, fructose corn syrup, palm soybean oil with mono and diglycerol. Well, which ones?
Just start over.
Sugar,
Sugar,
corn syrup,
sugar,
pecans, fructose corn syrup,
sugar,
palm and soybean oil, mono and diglycerides,
fat,
added egg whites,
protein,
sorbitol,
probably a sugar,
salt, cornstarch, sugar, and artificial flavor.
Yeah, it's probably some kind of sugar. So, but that in no way explains what the hell this stuff is.
Right.
So, if somebody asked you what it is, how would you explain it?
Yeah, it's weird shit. I when I was eating it, I was like, it's kind of like because I think you even said it too. It's a lot like icing.
Yeah, it's like a hardened or gelled up like vanilla icing. Yeah, because it's not like you can grab it out because it's like right now he's grabbing the last piece out and it's sticking to the bottom of the container, but he can still get it out in one piece. It's almost like the consistency of like a Play-Doh, or something like that, but not as obviously like dry. But I don't, like I said, I don't know. I only brought this up because I thought the whole conversation was funny about how when he asked me to explain it, I was like, I don't know how to explain it. And then as soon as he had one, he was just like, man, this is good, but what is it? And so,
like it's like really good. Like it's divine, but
yeah. But so anybody else, I have no idea where else to get it. I've never tried to make it. I may one day. Like I said, I've always been told it's hard. My mom's one of the people that said that, and she's always been able to cook anything anything she's ever tried. So if it's hard for her, then it must be fairly difficult. And I could kind of see it with the consistency that maybe it's hard to get the consistency.
That seems like a very exact consistency.
Yeah, but if you're ever around a Cracker Barrel, it was $4.99. Like I said, there's probably like 12 to 15 pieces in there. Sean's counting them up now. 14 pieces, so not too bad. And they're sweet enough that I like sweet stuff. I have a sweet tooth, and like 2 of them is enough for me at any given time. I may eat like another one an hour or 2 later, but at any given time I'm only eat like 1 or 2. So as far as only getting 14 for $5, it's really not as bad as not as bad as it sounds as far as expensive, but it's a kind of a novelty. But yeah, it's I like Cracker Barrel as a restaurant anyway, but I love the gift shop because they got all the candy sticks, the different flavors, and then all the different just kind of candies you can't usually get a lot of.
I'm not a fan of how impossible it is to get around that big
right,
stuff.
Yeah, the place is so jacked full of stuff that I'm chubby, so I have a hard time getting through things anyway. But he's tall and skinny, and it's like, first off, it's impossible to pass somebody in one of the aisles.
That's why it sucks going there when it's busy.
And it's all shit that's like stacked.
Yeah.
So it's like if you accidentally elbow something or something like that, you're just shit's going down. So yeah, it's it's kind of think of the bull in the china shop kind of thing. But
I try to. I'm always very, very nervous walking around Cracker Barrel because I'm like, until we get out into like the actual floor or the.
Like yesterday was fine because there was only like 2 other people in the whole gift shop while we were there. I think they both worked there. But yeah, anytime there's even remotely busy, like I'd also love to have, like I said yesterday, one of the rocking chairs they have out front. But I've got a nice one, but it's so old and was built by a family member that I'm kind of afraid to use it. But I think I'm going to do it anyway once the puppy gets past his chewing stage.
No, yeah.
I don't want him chewing on that, but once he's beyond that, I may actually get it out and start using it. We also watched Flashpoint Paradox.
Mm-hmm.
Again, another Dollar Tree gem.
It's also a time travel movie. Another
time travel movie, which it had. One of the cool things about it is it had 2 of the old Justice League as like bonus material. It had 2 of the old like 80s.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Justice Friends cartoons.
Oh, Diktor.
The Diktor, the one first we watched the one, and it was a time travel episode, and the bad guy's name was Diktor.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember what planet they were from, but it was basically Diktor was mad that their planet wasn't going to war all the time with people. Yeah. So, really not much to talk about in it. Like goofy, silly shit from those old cartoons. Yeah. But the part that struck me the most was when Diktor took the basically the guest good guy who was the king of the planet that Diktor's from, fucking turned him into an old man, and then later in the episode turned him into dust.
Yeah.
With like a time medallion or whatever.
Yeah, he got the time medallion.
It was like chromium,
which he stole from him in the first place. Yeah. But then somehow they used the time medallion to bring him back. But
because he was able to just hit him again with it.
But he was also like
he turned the Justice Leaguers into kids, and then
we couldn't sit here without laughing.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Because like when he was a regular like aged human. He was basically like a ginger with the thick red afro.
Yeah. He was very weird looking,
but with Vulcan ears and like mutton chops. It was like a red-headed Bob Ross with big old like elf ears. It was just like funny as shit.
It was a very like a 60s, 70s hairstyle, whatever.
Yeah, because it was like the whole thing was like a big almost like you could take it off in one big piece, like the chops and the big hair helmet, because it was like big like kind of like really really curly fro that had been permed, and so it was stiff and kind of fit the head, and it was just hysterical with those big old pointy ears.
Yeah, but Diktor turned this motherfucker old, and then he ran to Earth to bitch to the Justice League, so they went to stop Diktor. So they're like in they're like in a submarine or whatever, and they had just left the Hall of Justice, and they found that they have to go back to the Hall of Justice. So they all split up. They leave the King there with the Wonder Twins, who are fucking idiots.
Oh my god, they're fucking horrible.
So they leave the King with the Wonder Idiots. Diktor shows up because the Justice League left. Aquaman literally leaves for like 5 minutes. Diktor shows up. They try to stop Diktor from kidnapping the King.
Wonder Twins activate into an ice
cage. Because
this is the first part. That's right. Later is the ice ladder.
He becomes the
ice cage.
And she becomes like a goat.
But she pushes him so fast across the floor, makes the bottom of the cage melt. And so by the time they get there, he basically is falling apart.
They cut to Diktor, and he's just leaving. He's already captured what's his name. He's just leaving, and the fucking Wonder Twins did fuck all to stop him. They fucked themselves up.
Yeah. And so like earlier, like when Diktor got to the planet in his ship, they buried his ship out in the middle of like the desert, like 6 feet under the ground. And at one point, the Wonder Twins like go out there and they find it basically, and they get on to somehow they find it and they get onto it, and I think they somehow dispatch the bad guys that are still on the ship, but then like they find out that like Diktor escaped or something, and so they've got to like get back to the League of Justice, the Hall of Justice, and so they Wonder Twins activate and become the form of an ice ladder
and a mouse.
And so the ice ladder forms, which goes up to like the little porthole to get them out, and the mouse runs up the thing, and I guess it's a mouse, so I guess it's foreseeable they could dig through 6 feet of dirt to get out. And then as a mouse proceeded to run from the middle of this desert all the way back to the Hall of Justice.
Which is in Metropolis, which is like a big city.
Yeah. So closest desert anywhere is thousands of miles away. And this mouse ran it
in like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
faster than the fucking Flash, who wasn't there, by the way, because this is Justice Friends.
So it was just So that was, again, this isn't like an 80s cartoon, so
it might even be older than that.
We're gonna give it a pass. But it was fantastic.
It was
hilarious. Some of that shit was just like.
At one point, the Justice League gets turned into kids, and then they shoot them again, and we're like, shouldn't they get turned into fetuses now?
And they turned Superman into a little kid, and like how somehow it takes away all of his powers.
Right, yeah, because we were like, okay, because when Diktor turns all of them to kids, it was like, okay, Superman should be fine though. You still just whoop Diktor's
Superman's
ass.
still gonna whip your ass, yeah. Because as an infant in the movie, he lifts the whole back end of that truck off the ground.
But then he loses powers, I guess. But then he loses powers, so when he becomes an adult again, he has to recharge.
Yeah, he can't use his powers right away because he had
But it was literally just long enough for there to be a commercial break. It cuts to something else, and it cuts back, and he has his powers back. So he just punches the door down and escapes.
But that was just a bonus on the. We didn't watch the second episode yet. I assume it's another time travel episode.
Probably.
But that was a little bonus material on the. I mean, again, that in itself worth the $1.
Absolutely,
we paid for the DVD. But that's not even the main thing, because the whole the basis was the Flashpoint Paradox.
That's what I'm saying before. Even DC's special features are always really good. It's always a little documentary, interviews, commentaries, extra episodes of stuff. I know Justice League Doom, we watched that. The DVD for that has Justice League Animated Series episodes on it, 2 of them.
Nice, okay. So the Flashpoint Paradox was good. in a few little things that at the beginning I was kind of questioning.
Yeah, why'd she call him his full name?
Yeah, like well, at the very beginning, she's like, and I get it, it's for little kids, but like they're out in the middle of the road and like something happened, or this car drives past and the kid starts to run after it, and he's like, "Hey, you're supposed to stop for people who need help," and his mom's like, "Barry Allen, you get back here," and
it's like, "Oh, you,"
and it's just like, why did you call him Barry Allen? It's like, just call him Barry. Anybody watching this movie knows who the fucking Flash is.
Yeah.
It's a blonde-headed kid named fucking Barry. You can't put two and two together. I got a tack hammer in the toolbox over there. I'll whack you in the head with it. You're dumb.
Yeah, and it's like, it's I don't, it makes me question like who they think is watching these movies.
Because I don't even know, like, if you'd asked me before it started what the Flash's real name was, I probably couldn't have told you.
Yeah.
But as soon as I heard the name, I was like, oh yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
So I mean, as soon as I would have heard Barry, I was like, oh yeah, that's the Flash. But not to mention that he was a little kid that thought he could chase a car down.
Right.
So it's like,
Everything about it. Like even right as he's standing at his mom's like grave or whatever, he's like, I should have been faster. This is before he's even in costume.
Yeah.
Like that, all these little bits should explain to you who he is, especially since the movie's about the Flash. He's on the fucking cover of the DVD box.
But basically, it jumps like 18 years later or something like that, and him and his girlfriend are standing at his mom's grave, and
Iris, who I don't think is ever even named. I don't think.
I don't think they ever do say her name. Well. No, he does. He does
at the very end, I think. Yeah.
Well, I think he does at the point where he runs in and she's got.
That's right. Because he said he like sees her and says her name. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's it. But you don't. But that's it. Like, there's no real explanation who she is.
Although I don't think he does say her name. Then she doesn't like.
I think he like whispers it or something.
Maybe, but she doesn't acknowledge the fact that she even knows he's there.
Yeah, because she's looking at her husband and her kid.
That's also when you were like, yeah, she's got a type because like her husband is exactly
blonde,
like
just as tall as he is.
Barry Allen. Yeah, like same height, same build, blonde hair.
Yeah.
So it jumps to that, and they're sitting there and putting flowers on his mom's grave. I don't know if it's the anniversary or her birthday or whatever, but
never explained. It's probably his birthday.
So he gets like a call on his little phone from the Justice League saying there's a problem, and so he goes back to the Justice League. And
it's the Flash Museum because he's so popular in his city.
He gets a call from the Justice League saying there's an issue at the Flash Museum,
which is probably why he showed up alone, because it's like, this is your beef, go take care of it. It's your museum.
So he runs there, and when he gets there, fucking Reverse Flash is there.
Captain Cold, Captain Boomerang, Heatwave, Mirror Master, all the Flash. Most of the Flashes, like villains, they're all there.
They've decapitated the big, huge like Flash statue that's in like the main lobby, and they're wrecking everything else. And so the Flash fights them, and they catch the Flash in this like goo shit up against the wall.
Yeah, it's like weird putty stuff that he can't
he can the Reverse Flash is made that will like he can kind of like move it around and stuff by going real fast and make it like pliable, but it won't ever actually fully like melt. So
he can't phase through it either, because he mentions that too.
But so they trap him, and they Reverse Flash, like, of course, betrays all the other bad guys.
Yeah, because he also puts bombs on all of them.
He puts bombs on all of them and on the Flash. And basically says, they're all going to blow up everything, and blah, blah, blah. And then the Justice League shows up, and they decide that because the Flash is able to trap Reverse Flash in the same goo stuff by, like, getting hot enough to make it, like, movable. And he, like, throws half of it at him, and he gets caught in it too, and the
Flash is like, "All right, Reverse Flash, shut off the bombs, or you'll die too."
Because the bomb is attached to the goo, which is now right next to the Reverse Flash instead of Flash, and so he's like, no, because getting to destroy the world and basically making it your fault is worth me dying, and so he's like, screw it. And then the Justice League shows up, and they decide that each one of the Justice League is going to take one of the other bad guys that has a bomb, like, out into space or somewhere safe for it to blow up, and then try to defuse them, because Reverse Flash with the lasso of truth around his neck says there's no way to stop him at this point. And so Green Lantern puts Batman and one of the bad guys
in like a bubble in space.
In a bubble, and they go into space, flies them into space. Superman grabs one, flies them into space.
No, he
that's right. Superman takes him on a cliff and just puts his cups his hands around the bomb because they're small, like
they're like the size of a watch,
like the size of not even a watch, like a watch without the band on it, like a watch face, like a little bit bigger than a quarter basically. So he just cups it in his hands. And then what does Wonder Woman take hers?
Wonder Woman waits until the bomb's about to explode. Then she freezes it with Captain Cold's gun.
That's right.
Throws it in the air and explodes.
Aquaman
summons a bunch of little mites to disarm it.
Just throws him in the ocean and summons a bunch of little mites to come and disarm it.
Cyborg hacks it.
Cyborg hacks it, which I kind of thought was funny because the guy that created them just said with the lasso of truth that there's no way to disarm these things. And yet everybody finds a different way to disarm them. Not even all the same one way to do it. But they find 4 different ways to do it. Like
Superman's and Wonder Woman's, I'm like, yeah, they just let them explode. But
because what happens
is questionable because it's how they disarm it without exploding.
What happens with the one that's with the Flash and Reverse Flash?
Does he do? I cannot remember. Oh, he does some weird vibration shit because he's like, oh, you may have my powers, but you don't know how to use them. And he makes this weird vibration orb and throws it, and it destroys the bomb.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He throws it at the bomb that's on
short circuits and shit. Yeah,
he fucks it up.
Yeah, and they stopped.
Which to me, even the first time I watched it, I was like, "That's an ass pull." Flash can't do that. There's no because they show him later doing a weird tornado thing with his arm. So I'm like, that but the weird vibration orb shit.
So they stopped that. Because Reverse Flash gets destroyed.
Yeah. And, no, he doesn't get destroyed. He gets arrested. I think.
He got destroyed. The rest of them got arrested. I thought he got destroyed somehow.
I don't remember what happened to him actually.
Either way, they solved that whole thing and. Barry goes home.
No, he doesn't get captured because Superman's he's talking shit to Flash. Superman's like, you better shut your mouth because you might get bugged in your teeth, and they fly off, and that's it.
But then, he goes out and does his little run thing, and then goes home.
Yeah.
And he wakes up the next day, and
goes to work at the police department.
Everything seems to be all right. And then he leaves, and his mom's standing out front. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Oh, and he's like, Captain Cold's already out of prison because he was one of the guys that they had, captured before. He's already out of prison, and they're like, Barry's like, I can't believe he's already out of prison. We literally just caught him yesterday.
Right, yeah. And so he leaves, and his mom's out front. She's like, no, you invited me to dinner for my birthday, and you forgot. And he was gives her a big hug. He's like, I can never forget you.
Because we didn't mention, but his mom's murdered in the first 5 minutes of this movie.
Well, I said she was at his mom's grave.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But she was straight up fucking murdered.
But everybody, not everybody knows the story. But that's the Flash.
I think a lot of people don't really know the story.
His mom was murdered when he was on his birthday. When he was
on her birthday.
On her birthday when he was 10 or 12 or something like that. But so his mom's standing there, which of course freaks him the fuck out, and he finally starts slowly realizing that he's not in the same time zone or dimension or whatever.
Because he mentions to his mom that he's the Flash, and she's like, who?
Who the fuck is the Flash? Yeah. And he goes and breaks into the Hall of Justice.
Batman. No, he breaks into the
Batcave, and Batman shows up, and they start, and it's all decrepit and barely used, and
Batman's whooping his shit.
Batman finally shows up, and they fight, and then all of a sudden,
no, it wasn't a fight. Batman beat the fuck out of Barry.
Beats his ass, and then they realize that Barry doesn't have powers,
right?
And then Barry realizes that it's not Bruce, it's Thomas Wayne, because in this time dimension, Bruce was the one that was killed in the alleyway.
They show earlier that this Batman's way more violent. He uses guns. He was willing to kill a villain that he was getting information out of.
Yeah, literally, he was fighting.
It was Yo-Yo,
which is Harley Quinn. When he got done fighting her, he literally threw her out the window of the 50th floor of a skyscraper, and Cyborg had to catch her right before she hit the ground to save her. But
Cyborg tells Batman that they're getting together a league of sorts, a Just Us league, a suicide
Avengers type group.
Yeah, Avengers type group. Yeah.
But and so So Barry like finally explains to Thomas what's going on, and his ring pops out as Thomas is kicking his ass.
Yeah, Thomas breaks like
he's
3
like,
or 4 of his fingers.
Yeah, he's like, let me like show it to you. So he's like, fine, humor me. And so Barry hits a little button, and his suit pops out, and it's the Reverse Flash's suit, not his.
Yeah, and Barry's like freaking out.
And somehow out of nowhere, Batman's like, well, it's because he hates you more than anything else, and he's willing to sacrifice everything to destroy you. And you're like, well, how the fuck does Batman know that shit about what he's like in the future? He didn't even know this dude.
Because he's Batman.
But he's not Batman. He's Thomas Wayne.
He's Batman in this universe.
But
it's because you know what's weird? Like regular Batman would know that because he's done all this training and learned all. Got
that's
all this
what I'm saying.
knowledge
Though,
and
he's
shit.
not Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, this
He's
is just
smart
Thomas
about it.
Wayne. He's
just some dude that owns a casino.
He's a doctor and he owns a casino, and that's it. But he's like a doctor, like a psychologist.
So, basically tells them what's going on, and they basically figure out that what happened is at some point the Flash went back in time to save his mom's life, and when he did that, he fucked everything up.
Yeah.
And that's what made so that's why when he woke up, it was the new reality. It's back because some other version of him in some other time zone had gone back in time and saved his mom. That's why his mom was still alive, and
it causes ripples in the time stream that makes it so
because he doesn't become the Flash, and so like with Thomas Wayne's help, he burns himself into a crisp.
yeah.
He straps himself in an electric chair with all these chemicals around it, and
first off, where the fuck did Thomas Wayne get an electric chair?
Right.
Why does he just have this?
So and they get struck by lightning, and he just catches on fire.
He just bursts into flames.
He's on fire for good like 15 seconds, and the Batman's, oh hey,
I should put him out.
I think he's on fire. He goes over and puts him out, and like it shows him he's just like all crispy.
Yeah, he's fucked.
So like the next time you see him, he's on like a lab table. Looks
he's
like
wrapped up like a mummy.
like a crispy mummy, and he like wakes up and it's like, what the shit? And
so we gotta try again. And he's like,
we gotta do this shit again.
Batman's like, no.
Yeah.
But they do anyway. It works the second time.
It works the second time, even though it fucks up the second time because his dumbass in his convulsions from getting struck by lightning
he like unplugged it. Yeah. And Batman like action rolls to go plug it back in.
And he gets like electrocuted and shit. He starts to, but then the Flash becomes the Flash.
He gets pushed off the roof.
Yeah. And then the Flash becomes the Flash, and so he like
saves him.
And then
basically the shit that's wrong with this world is like there's no Superman, Atlantis and Themyscira are at war because
the Earth is now
it's like fucked up. Like they took over Europe.
The Earth is now called Themyscira.
No, Europe is New Themyscira because she took over.
Europe is.
Yeah, she took over all of Europe.
But basically, they're trying to like eradicate like I guess people that live on Earth.
There's no real explanation for why they start fucking with like Earth.
Well, Aquaman just keeps saying something about like top dwellers.
Yeah, Aquaman I understand because they hate the surface dwellers and shit.
I don't know if like,
but Themyscira they're just being dicks.
Explain if like, I mean, she straight up kills the human she sees.
Yeah, I almost said Steve Rogers, damn near the exact same character, but
Calvin or
no, not Calvin. No, it's something. Is it Steve? No, it's not Steve. Is it Steve Rogers? No, that's Captain America.
Everett or
it's something Rogers.
Everett or Calver or
I can't believe I'm blanking on his name.
Not Rogers. Trevor.
Steve Trevor. That's what it is. Yeah, Steve Trevor. But so yeah, she kills the fuck out of him in like a really cool way. I think like she wraps the lasso around him and then just fucking flies up in the air and hangs. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know if like her whole plan is to eradicate the humans or
yeah, because it seems like she's just being
make slaves out
she's just kind of being an asshole because she's going to war with the Atlanteans, but she's fucking up just regular humans.
The Earth and shit. Yeah, it's like so. But anyway, so yeah, they're fighting for I guess rule of the Earth or whatever. And,
but really, it's just a lovers' quarrel.
Yeah,
as they show later.
Because basically Wonder Woman and Aquaman have an affair.
Yeah.
And then Aquaman's wife finds out and tries to kill Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman kills her, cuts her head off, and then like
puts her crown on,
starts wearing her crown around and all this kind of shit.
And Aquaman's like, "What the fuck?
Right?
You killed my wife and you're wearing her head around or crown around,
wearing her crown around and shit." Yeah. So
they go to war because all the Atlanteans were like, you know, war. They killed Mara. They killed this woman we thought was awesome. So
literally everybody died.
Yeah, everybody, every fucking person in the fucking.
Of course, everybody but Barry.
Yeah, he's like the last one.
And then Barry and
and Superman.
Well, Superman. That's the thing is Superman does exist.
Yeah.
But
he landed dead in the middle of Metropolis, not in Smallville.
And so like they found him and put him like in like this little room with no sun. So he's like a half mutated, like
emaciated.
He's like an emaciated, like homeschool kid, basically.
He's got, you know, he looks frail and weak, and he can barely walk.
So they rescue him and take him out and put him in the sun. And of course, you know, within minutes of him being out in the sun, he's like floating around, and then his eyes like start involuntarily shooting lasers out and wax a shit ton of people.
Yeah, because there are all these government agents who were there to stop him.
Which they were all, you know, pretty much bad people anyway.
Right,
but
faceless.
Then all of a sudden, after he does that, he kind of looks around and gets this like thoughtful look on his face and just like flies off into like space. So I got to think about some shit. So he's gone at that point, and then so the torch.
And everybody's like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah, everything's coming to a head. Everybody's dying, and it's like. Thomas Wayne, Batman, the Flash, and Superman shows up, and they're like basically all that's alive.
Yeah.
Like Batman's like, you're the only one that can save us. You gotta go back in time,
fix all this, keep it from happening,
stop all this.
And
shit
the only reason Thomas Wayne even gives a shit about any of this, like he just did not give a shit about Cyborg's little team. He was not trying to join. He finds out in Flash's universe, Bruce is still alive. You know.
So he's like, and so like. When he goes back, like he gives the Flash a note for Bruce, which wouldn't that in itself cause a paradox of some kind?
Really, the note shouldn't even exist.
I guess it depends on what he says.
The note in reality should just fade from existence. It shouldn't even exist.
No, because he brings it. He takes it into the past, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. But I guess if like Star Trek, like the wormhole or the time warp thing they go through protects them from the.
Yeah, because this doesn't go by. This somehow simultaneously goes by like like time travel rules and does not, where it's like stuff that shouldn't exist still does, and stuff that doesn't. Right? Yeah, like you can kind of fuck around with whatever. You know, you can't have a show if you do like realistic time travel where shit just wouldn't happen. You know, everything kind of just undoes itself immediately.
But I enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was it pushed the PG-13 rating, like I said, like he fucking.
Which is kind of funny though, because we just watched that today.
Yeah,
it was the longer of the two movies, but I think I remember more about the Trapped in Time.
You want to know why? Because Trapped in Time was a lot tighter.
Well, they jammed a lot into a shorter period of time.
In Flashpoint, there's a lot of like
because it seemed like there's almost as much happened in that, but it was like 20 to 30 minutes, like 20 minutes.
Flashpoint has a lot of like. Almost not really meandering. There's a lot of like character stuff that they kind of dwell on.
Flashpoint was like an hour and 20 minutes, and the other one was like 53 or something like that. So
they dwell on a lot of stuff in Flashpoint, but I mean, it's like all right. Like it's still good. Like I think the comic itself is better, but that's only because they were able to get into more details.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I think I mentioned it, but it set off New 52, which is like the worst DC's been like in a long ass time. Yeah. So, but and then I said like Justice League War, not good. It's like it's like the animated version of the New 52 stuff. So.
I enjoyed both of them.
Yeah, I think I did like. I also like Flashpoint Paradox more also, but just because it's more of a story, I think. Because the time trapper trapped in time. Oh wow! I actually should have.
I would like to see a little more his shit.
Yeah. They kind of he's way cooler in the comic books. They kind of just made him like a generic evil, like ghoul. I mean, like when his fucking hood finally comes off, he's just like a monster.
Yeah.
So, but DC movies are still pretty good though. They recently put out Death of Superman, which is super good. It's like the best version, I think, best adaptation.
That's one of the few comic books that I own.
Yeah, I own it too.
It's like all just the cover was just all black, I think. Yeah. Somebody breaks his back or something. Is it?
No, that's Batman, where Bane breaks his back.
I know, but
in Death of Superman, Doomsday just beats Superman to death. They really beat each other to death. But in the animated version, believe Superman like flies at him super fast and breaks his neck, but Doomsday is like the one. The Doomsday in Death of Superman, the animated movie, is like the one in Batman vs Superman where he grows spikes. So he grows like these big ass spikes on his arms and just stabs Superman with one, and that's it.
Stab Superman.
Well, Doomsday is the the monster of steel. So it's like he's like Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns is Superman.
So on the comic book lines, I also watched Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah, the best Spider-Man movie ever.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not.
That's what everybody acts like.
I thought it was average.
Yeah,
I mean, problem I had with it, and maybe it was, maybe it's meant this, but to me it looked like they got a guy that's like 18 or 19 to play a 15-year-old.
Well, he's 21, I believe. But he's very like youthful because even for the role he went undercover in like a high school.
Basically, but what I'm saying is that they got an older actor to play like a 15-year-old, thinking, well, here for the future we're going to need him to be a little older.
Be around, yeah.
But the problem is that I thought they tried way too hard to make us believe that he was 15.
Yeah,
because he was just so dumb. All the stupid like little kid shit that he did was just so ridiculous. Like the stuff with the girl, and
that was the biggest problem for me with it. Was like a lot of his like I love like all the Spider-Man shit where he was just Spider-Man and he's like a great Spider-Man. Like the montage where he was kind of just helping people out in the city, like where that dude was trying to get into his car and he fucking he webbed him up on it and like hit his head on it. He's like, "This is my car." Yeah, and the part where the dude's like, it's like, "You're Spider-Man," yeah. He's like, "Yeah, I'm Spider-Man." He's like, "Do a flip, Spider-Man." Like, it's like shit like that. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man shit. It's fun, But then like when it's like high school stuff, it's like all of his friends were annoying. His bully was annoying. His love interest was annoying. I hate all that shit.
Aunt is hot as shit.
Marissa told me they tried to grandma her up a little bit for this movie, but it did not work. Yeah, she's still so hot. Yeah,
smoking hot.
Yeah. Marvel has like all these hot, just beautiful brunette women in their movies for some reason. Like all these girl next door beautiful women who are like, they're not like glamorous supermodel looking. They're just like just pretty beautiful women.
I mean, her and like my cousin Vinny. Because like even like her accent, even though it's kind of annoying, is still.
You don't like that Italian kind of hard.
That like crazy accent that she had is just a little too much.
I think there was a girl in the Venture Bros in the newer episodes that had a voice like that. I think, and you mentioned that you didn't like it. And I was like, I love that accent. The like mobster girl accent.
To a point, it's kind of sexy. But like with hers, it was just almost like
unbearable.
She was like angry a lot. So it was like she was just like screaming and stuff. But as far as just her look, even with that huge hair, I mean, she is just gorgeous.
It's a pretty lady. I guarantee you somebody on the production team was like, we got to get Marissa Tomei to play Aunt May. And what's funny is like Aunt May in a lot of adaptations, like she seems to get younger and younger as time goes on, and it's weird. Like, and it guess really depends because in the early 2000s Spider-Man Sam Raimi movies, she's like as old as fucking can be. She's damn near dust at that point. But
wasn't it Diane Lane? Didn't Diane Lane play?
I have no idea.
Who's the Aunt May and the Tobey Maguire ones?
Those are the Sam Raimi ones. I have no idea. It's some old lady though, some really old lady. But there's that makes you think of the bit in the first one.
I think it may be the old lady from that shitty Crossworlds movie that I was.
Oh, really?
We're going to talk about in a minute. Let me see here. Was that the Amazing? No, it wasn't the Amazing Spider-Man. It was just Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man was the one in between Tobey Maguire and the new one.
Yeah. So there's a bit in the first Spider-Man movie where
Rosemary Hackett,
where she's doing like a prayer and the Green Goblin this is after Green Goblin's found out that he's Spider-Man, or that Peter Parker's Spider-Man, so he goes to Aunt May. I think she's in the hospital for the reason. She blows up the fucking door the hospital wall, and while she's doing a prayer, and he's like, finish the prayer, and she goes, deliver us from evil. Yeah, it's like, but you know what? It's like Sam Raimi over the top goofiness, so it's like really good. It's probably Willem Dafoe. It's one of Willem Dafoe's like best performances ever. Just yeah, it's just this crazy motherfucker. One of the best lines in that movie is where he's hanging like Mary Jane off of a wire, and he's hanging a bunch of kids off like in a what are those things called? Like the ones that move, the big bus like things that move on the like trolley tram. Yeah, so he's like a bunch of kids are in there, so he's like, let die the woman you love, or suffer the children. It's like that movie those movies are so good. I'll tell you about this. Those movies are still better than Homecoming to me, I think. Even maybe Spider-Man 3, even though Spider-Man 3 fucking sucks.
Yeah, I was, not a huge. I mean, I thought it was average. Yeah. And most of the stuff that annoyed me was the stuff with the kid.
Yeah. Like all the superhero stuff to me. All superhero stuff to me was like perfectly fine, Yeah. Vulture.
But like a lot of the shit that he was trying to do, like impress Tony Stark. And then he finally impresses Tony Stark and asks him to be an Avenger, and he's like, nah.
I mean, I get that. Like he's learned a lesson, so he's like, I'm not ready for this yet, obviously. So it's like, I'm gonna wait. But then Infinity War rolls around and he's ready for it. Like he gets the suit anyway. So it's like,
well, he gives him the suit back at the end of the movie anyway.
Yeah.
Because he gets home and there's like,
he gets the real suit. Yeah.
There's the paper bag sitting on the thing, and like he puts it on, and Aunt May walks up and was like, what the fuck?
Oh, you saw the other suit, right? The better one.
Yeah.
So he didn't get that one. He gets that in the next movie. He gets that in Infinity War. I don't think you still haven't seen that, right?
No, I have not.
All right, but yeah, he gets that in Infinity War, and so it's like, okay, so literally one movie ago he wasn't ready for it, but now he's ready for it.
Yeah. So because he hacked his regular suit.
Yeah, but what I mean, it's like literally like Iron Man pulls a ball out and throws it at Spider-Man, and it wraps around his current suit. And it gives him a new suit, and it's the Iron Spider suit, and it's like the more advanced one. It's like, why did you even? But I don't know. Hey, it's like, Infinity War is still good, and Homecoming to me it's half good because of the Spider-Man bits where he's just being a really good Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But it's held down by like the worst Mary Jane and. I don't even remember what his love interest's name was. Liz Allen, like the worst Liz Allen, because she's just annoying. Ned, his little buddy is annoying. His bully, Flash Thompson, sucks. It's just. Yeah, the original ones. Yeah. Which is great. It's fucking awesome. But that movie had the problem of like all those characters being too old. Like they were still in high school when he was playing that bully, and those characters those people were all obviously like in their 20s,
right,
and shit. So it's like,
yeah, well, they gotta do
right.
So yeah, the only other thing I watched really this week was
Crossworlds.
Shitty movie called Crossworlds. And basically what I just do is I sit here in the middle of the night and I get bored, so I go through like the on demand on the cable, and I only have like Encore and Stars. I don't have HBO or Cinemax or anything, so there's only a certain amount of stuff on there that's free. I mean, there's like 2,500 movies when they list them, but I mean, of the 2,500, even me, who's seen thousands of movies, I haven't heard of over half of them. So, but I just scroll through and kind of look at it. Just basically shows a picture of them, has the name, and so I'll see something that kind of catch my interest, and I'll read the synopsis, and it seems interesting. I'll give it a watch. And so last night I was going through and came up the Crossworlds. I was almost about to give up because I've been scrolling through a while, and only 5-6 movies at a time. There's like 2,500 to 3,000 movies.
Jesus.
I'd scrolled for a while, and it had been like probably 10 or 20 scrolls since I had really even heard of one of the movies that was on there. I was about to give up, and I saw Rutger Hauer, which I liked him, and he's in some of my movies I really liked when I was a kid, and so Lady Hawk and Blade Runner. But I was like, let me give it a read, so I read it, and the synopsis was interesting. Basically said, there's a staff that can kind of control and kind of open portals between dimensions and like that, and so like sci-fi, it's got him in it, give it a look. I like cheesy, crappy movies.
Oh, yeah.
Had that feeling. It was made in 1996. Yeah, Rutger Hauer is really the only main character. There's another dude in it that plays like the main character. I've seen him in a couple other things, but I can't really remember what. Jack Black has luckily like a 5-minute role because he's playing the version of Jack Black I really don't like the young, just crazy, really boisterous and obnoxious, loud, and so
which was fine in High Fidelity.
Sure.
Yeah,
it was in small doses.
Right.
Like I said, this was in small doses because it was really annoying when it was on. And had I known when he was doing it, I wouldn't really have to see him the rest of the movie. Right. It wouldn't have been as bad, but. It kind of starts out, and there's just this kid that's probably in his mid-20s, and his girlfriend just broke up with him, and so he goes to this bar, and his buddies are there, and one of his buddies is Jack Black, and this is a dude. They're both just being annoying, upbeat and happy. You gotta go to this party, man. You gotta just jump right back in. Don't worry about your girlfriend breaking up with you. Blah blah blah, and just being real annoying. He's like, no, I'm not going. So finally, Jack Black is just so annoying that he's like, fine, I'll go. And so he goes to the party, and they talk him into talking to this girl on the dance floor, and of course he blows it. And so he goes back to stand by him, and they go off to do their thing. And right afterwards, he sees this real hot blonde across the party, and so he goes over to say something, and at one point, for a split second, he loses sight of her because somebody crosses in front of him, and when the person crosses in front of him, she's gone, and so somebody spiked my drink, whatever, and so he goes home and goes to sleep, and in the middle of the night, that same girl sneaks into his house and straddles him. At this point, you have no idea what the fuck's going on. And she straddles him and he's wearing a necklace around his neck. She pulls it out, and it's this little medallion that's kind of wrapped and being held at the end of the necklace just by leather, and she goes to grab it, and she touches her skin to the actual medallion and the stone or whatever, and this flash kind of goes through a time warble kind of just goes through something just a wave, and you can kind of tell she's oh shit, what was that? And so he wakes up, and of course he thinks he's dreaming because there's this really hot chick right on him.
All right.
So finally, they figure out what's going on, and so they go to leave, and they go to leave his house because she convinces him to go somewhere, and because she's hot. And they go to get in his car, which is literally I forgot to tell the best part. So the best part of the movie starts out, and the very first thing you see on screen is 20 years ago.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And you just see this dude digging in a dig somewhere, in the desert or something. They're digging up bones or something, and he finds he finds this it looks like at the time it's dark. Literally, it's the whole thing is shadow. There's no definition at all. It's completely dark, and all you can see is shadows. And so you see this.
Which you said this is an archaeological dig, right?
Yes.
Which so it doesn't make any sense because they would have lights all around.
Right, exactly. And so he finds he's opening this crypt, and he opens it up, and he reaches in and grabs this what I remember seeing was what looked like a pipe, just a round pipe that was 1.5 foot long. And then he takes it and he goes to turn around. There's 3 dudes in suits and sunglasses, kind of the agents from Matrix. They all have machine guns. And they're basically they I don't know what happens. They start shooting at this dude, and he somehow gets away.
He survives.
But so then it my thing is it just starts with 20 years ago.
Right.
It doesn't give you any time frame of when is this movie supposed to take place.
Start at the beginning of the movie.
It was made in 1996. So is this 20 years prior to 1996? Does the movie take place in the 80s, so it's 20 years prior to that? Does the movie take place in the future, so it's in the 2100s, and it's 20 years prior to that? It's what are we getting at? When they go into the past, like I said, all it shows is him at an archaeological dig. So maybe it could be the 1800s for all you know. It's dark, so maybe we don't have lights yet. You really have no frame of reference or anything. And so then after that scene, it's present day. all the cars like you see are like from like the 70s and 80s. Like there's a 70 like Chevy Malibu. He drives this crappy like 70s like Plymouth land yacht. I mean, the thing is just like monstrous. So all the stuff with the girlfriend happens, and then the chick, him waking up with a chick on him, and she convinces him that she needs his help, and they run off and they get out to his car, and that's when like the same like guys in suits show up and start shooting at him, at both of them. He's got, like I said, he has this huge Plymouth, and it's like off-white. They're just like shooting it all up, and like they shoot the windshield out, and they shoot all up over the hood and all the way down the side of it. Like I said, the car's like barely off-white, so like the bullet holes are these big black holes like all the way down the side of it. So they somehow like kind of get away from him, make their way back there, get in the car, drive off. They like go stay at like this hotel, and like the next day they go to like get in the car, and there's like nothing wrong with the car. Like it's just pristine, not pristine because it was a piece of crap to begin with. But it's no bullet holes, no damage, no nothing. And so basically what's going on is that, long story short, the dude in the dig was his dad. He found that stone in the scepter. And with the stone in the scepter, this little place on the side where it fits, the scepter gives the scepter the power to, lots of powers, but mainly the power to open up like portals between the different worlds or time frames or whatever. And so there's this basically this kind of evil entity that wants the staff, so he can basically open up all the portals at once and like make all the worlds into one world that he would basically have like control over. So he's like, the guys in the suits are like his minions, and they're all fighting for him, trying to help him out. And so it's basically, so after they escape, they go to the hotel the next day. The girl and the main kid named Joe go to like this like old like abandoned kind of like factory or something, warehouse. And like they go in, and Rutger Hauer's working in there. He's like basically some scientist that's from like the dimension that the girl's from, but he decided to stay here and not fight the battle they've been fighting all this time. Because basically like this guy's been trying to do this for a while, I guess, but in their dimension, and so now he's come here to try to fight it because at some point when he was trying to find it, they hit it like on this planet, and so he figures it out and comes here. So like he came here, but decided like Rutger Hauer came here, but decided not to decided he was too old. Or
he was like, fuck this.
He was like, fuck this. I'm not fighting in the resistance anymore, and so he like basically stayed there and just kind of did his own thing. And but she tells him what's going on, and that they really need to like get back to their. They really need his help because he's the only one that knows how to do like certain things. He knows how to use like the staff, and there's something they need to find, and he's like one of the few people that knows where to find it. And so they talk him into helping, and so basically like while they're fighting, they get together and they finally run into like the bad guy and his minions. And during the fight, like the bad guy gets the staff. Uses the staff to just send him back to his time and his dimension and like his own world. And so while he's back there, like he gets back and he just wakes up in his bed. And so like then a couple like just dumb shit happens. Like he wakes up and he goes back out, or he wakes up and there's people banging on the door and it's the cop. And he's like, what are you doing here? And like, for some reason, Jack Black is with the cops. And he's like laughing at like his buddy like the whole time when he finds out he's getting arrested and shit. And so like I don't know what that was about. So like the cops tell him he's under arrest for hit and run. They go outside and like there's like nothing wrong with his car at all. There's like no dents, no bangs, no nothing. And they're like, well, how could I have hit somebody if there's nothing wrong with my car? And blah blah blah, and so they take him to jail anyway, and his mom bails him out. Him and his mom get in this big old fight about like why didn't you tell me about what this medallion was? And she's like, well, I only gave it to you because you promised you'd never like lose it or whatever.
And I didn't lose it, and it fucked my life up.
Right, I didn't lose it. These people came and tried to kill me because of it. And she's like, well, you never showed me anything that made me think you were ready to know. And
then why'd you give it to me?
Yeah, exactly. Blah, blah, blah. So it's just like really dumb. And so he so then he's all sad. And so for whatever reason, he just drives to this hotel or apartment complex and parks and gets out. Walks up to this door and looks at it for a minute and then turns the knob and opens the door and it's just this little room like a small apartment or hotel room, and there's stuff on the bed and the countertop, and this old fat dude in a wife beater and boxer shorts walks out and just kind of looks at him what are you doing here, and then just turns and walks off and gets back in his car and goes home. And then he gets home and right when he gets home on his way home, the guys in suits show back up and start trying to kill him again. And I'm first well, why are they doing this? Because the bad guy already just sent him back here. He doesn't have the scepter anymore. He doesn't have the stone anymore. He had no idea what was going on when this stuff was happening. So why are they even bothering with him anymore?
Maybe they think he still has something.
But what's weird is that anyway, basically. They chase him back to his house, and he goes to get back to his house, and right when he gets back there, this dude jumps out of the bushes. And he's wearing an all black suit with a red shirt and a black tie. To me, and even I asked you earlier, what your thoughts was. The first thing I think of is the devil, or in this case, just a bad guy. But the guy's no, and he goes on and on about trying to convince him.
Do you have a snake tongue?
Yeah, but he's trying to sweet talk him, right. So kind of. But he's I'm your best friend, and I'm here to help you. We're friends. We're on the same side. He just keeps saying that shit over and over again. So of course the dude, being a gullible moron, falls for it. And so they go to escape, and during the escape, the three guys in black shoot the guy that tells him he's his best friend. And so he jumps in his car, and even though, as far as he knows, the girl's been kidnapped by the bad guy, and Rutger Hauer is just disappeared. He has no idea what's going on, so for whatever reason, he goes back to Rutger Hauer's house or base or whatever, and he's there, and he's just working on shit like he was when they first found him.
So they're where are you?
And so he's just what the fuck? He's nothing's happened.
Yeah.
So he goes in and he tells him what's going on, and when he's well, I have the scepter and the stone, and so right after that, of course, the bad guy in the black suit with the red shirt that got shot earlier by the bad guys. Him and the bad guys walking together, and they're oh, I fooled you. Literally, he's you're an idiot. I fooled you.
It's but why?
And it's because they want the scepter.
Except I don't have the scepter.
Well, but Rutger Hauer.
Because you wanted him to lure
him. They led him to, but he didn't even know Rutger Hauer was there.
Right, exactly. That's what I mean. He didn't have any fucking information. He had no fucking idea.
It's he didn't even know Rutger Hauer was there. He just decided to go there, and they follow him. So Rutger Hauer's there, with the staff and the stone and So finally they fight, all that kind of shit, and the bad guy gets the staff, and then they get the staff and shit back, and then the kid is able to use it to save everybody, and of course he kind of gets the girl, and now he's he saves the girl and all this kind of shit, and now he's kind of the badass, and I think Rutger Hauer sacrifices himself.
Yeah, well, probably because he probably had to redeem himself because he was I didn't fight for so long.
Right,
now I gotta
basically.
do something.
Because he saw the error of his ways and decided to stay in hell.
Yeah, fuck that.
But it was,
I'm a genius scientist from another reality, so I'm just gonna keep being that in this reality.
So it was, disappointing, but I didn't really expect a ton of that.
Right, yeah, just some random, on-demand movie. Yeah. So,
but sometimes things are worth what you pay for.
Right. Just sometimes they're worth 10 times more, like all other movies.
Exactly. We got 2 movies for $1 that we really enjoyed.
So 27 episodes of Pink Panther for $1.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of episodes of Digimon. Hopefully I can find Volume 2 and have the whole first season.
Right. So shit. A shit like Digimon, a season that's 50 episodes.
It was I think he said 15 for the first volume.
Right, that's what I mean. So it's if you had the whole season.
Oh yeah.
They did like one every week for like the whole year. So
it's normally like Japanese seasons are only from maybe like 21 episodes for like a season at most. Like sometimes it's like only 12.
right.
But yeah, for Digimon to have so many, and Pokemon did the same thing. But it was one of those shows that because it's like a kid show and it was supposed to be like, you know, we gotta sell toys. They had to have an episode out like every week. Especially like in the morning for kids to kind of wake up and play with their toys too, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And like on the weekends.
Saturday morning cartoons. So. When I was a kid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are no Saturday morning cartoons really anymore.
Yeah. Really, I mean, like, yeah, when I was a kid, like every network from like 6 a.m. to like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
Played this cartoon.
As a kid, I would have a hard time picking between Cartoon Network, Fox, WB, or Nickelodeon.
Tell me about it. When I was a kid, I mean, VCRs barely even existed.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like if you missed something,
You were done.
you were just shit out of luck. Because that shit didn't come out on like VHS or like that, you know, DVD.
Yeah, until like 20 years
6
later.
months later. You know, now it's like I can go out and get that shit, which I've been trying to collect, but...
You see that Samurai Jack Blu-ray? I don't think we already talked about the Samurai Jack Blu-ray box set.
Yeah, I saw
It's like
it.
$50, I think, but I mean that's pretty good for all those episodes.
But you know, and I would consider buying if I didn't think they ruined it at the end.
Oh, yeah.
But it just made the whole thing pointless to me. The whole last season.
It was those last episodes were like rushed as hell, as you can tell, because there was just like no real payoff. Like the Scotsman shows up, and then he just dies, and then there isn't even like a goodbye between him and Jack, and that's like Jack's
they were
best
making
friend.
like it was like they were redoing cameos of all the people.
Right, yeah, it was just here are all the people we saw. But what was fucked up is that Aku kills most of them. Aku just fucking slaughters them. So it's like,
Well, and the one thing is like that's you know they're kind of like that rush, but then there's the one episode that I really liked from that season, the one where what's the girl's name?
the daughters of Aku. Oh, Ashi.
Ashi like goes to all the different places where Jack
Yeah,
saved
and
people
learns about him.
learns about all the different stuff that he did, and I was like, you know, that one was kind of cool because they had all the, you know, kind of went back and referenced a lot of the earlier episodes and stuff like that, and kind of brought like, but yeah, like you said, it brought all those people back together, and then Aku just whacked all of them. But I just didn't like how I didn't mind that she was gone, Ashi, but would have died, it would have been fine because, you know, at least then like he could look forward to like, you know, seeing her again in the afterlife.
But she just fades from all existence.
But the way they did it, she fades away from existence. She at that point she never existed, and so like, you know, it's like Jack's just shit on again.
So that's why to me he shouldn't have fallen in love with her. It shouldn't have been a love story. It should have been like she sees all this stuff and then she kind of inspires him to not kill himself, and then he's like, I can't change the past, I can't fix the past, but I can help save people. I can help these people in their futures, which is what the fucking series had been about.
Right.
Because if he was just like, I'm just gonna run to the past, it's like fuck everything else, then he just would have ran to the past a long time ago. You know, there were like how many episodes are there where there's a portal that he could just run to the past to, but he sees somebody getting hurt and it's like, I can't go.
To do that first.
Yeah.
So
So it's like, why wouldn't he have done that at the last episode? Why would he?
well, and all this shit about like, you know, he abandoned his people.
It's like, well, oh well.
Well, I mean, but these people would never say shit like that.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So,
But I mean, that was just. I think that was just him having his like his mental demons or whatever. Because I think her being like, Jack, you helped all these people. You haven't failed. You know, you've really done good by these people. I think that would have brought him out of that funk, which would have been better thematically for I'm going to stay here and help the future. I can't do anything about the past.
She does bring him out of his
Right, exactly. Which is why I
just going back in time.
Yeah, so it didn't matter.
Anyway,
Yeah,
it was just like. So I mean, that's the thing is like to me, that's why I didn't like it because it not only made her like not exist, because the whole last season really revolves around her.
Yeah.
And so it makes like that whole season just seem pointless. But not only that, but like now everything he did, all the people he saved,
Didn't matter. All that suffering he went through didn't
was
matter.
all for naught.
Yeah.
Now granted,
He spent 50 fucking years in the
now
future
granted
for
that the
nothing.
fact that he takes out Aku in the past shouldn't mean that these people are never like oppressed to a point in the future.
But they also probably don't even exist.
Right,
You know, because time is so
knows what's going on. So I just like, to me, it was like they just erased the whole series. And I was just like, man, like I said, I would have been fine if she just would have like sacrificed herself or like died or something. But the whole just like never existing kind of thing just bothered me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I still think he just shouldn't have gone back to the past. I think it should have just been like, well, Aku's got me stuck here, but at least I can get rid of him for these people, and not ruin these people's lives and their lives just because I want to get back to my timeline.
Exactly. We haven't done this before, but thought maybe we would talk a little bit about the vinyl we bought today. One thing that I've recently gotten back into is vinyl and just listening to actual records. I had a decent collection when I was younger, but most of those through years of moves and sales and cassette tapes
just vanished and gone places,
just disappeared. Yeah. So I have a few of them left, and of course they're not necessarily one. Not wrong. I like some, but like I don't need 3 Sean Cassidy records.
Right? Yeah.
He had like 2 good songs. You need 3 records. I have like 5 Kenny Rogers albums.
Yeah.
Like 2 of them are greatest hits. You don't really need much more than that. So. But that's about all that survived. But I've been collecting recently, and Deshaun's gotten a few as well. And he pretty much just keeps his records here because he doesn't have a record player at home right now. So we just kind of listen to him when he goes and shows. But we went to one of our favorite record stores today. It's a place called Karma. They sell like new vinyl, old vinyl. Same thing when it comes to like CDs. They even have like some cassette tapes. A lot of kind of a mini head shop. They've got like some few pipes, some papers, lots of wraps, lots and lots of incense if you like incense.
Oh yeah.
Decent size like Funko Pop collection. They're Karma, so they don't really get any exclusives.
There's some interesting ones though, like the Prince
cool
one.
Ones that I kind of liked. If I had more money, I may have gotten them, but they had a decent amount of like rock and roll ones, like Axl and Slash, and already got Jerry Garcia, but they had a few others that I would have liked, but right now it's not really on the top of my list of things to get. So, we did pick up a few albums today. The first one that I got was I'm not sure even how to pronounce it. I suppose it's the Chuck Mangione Quartet, Mangione. Chuck himself is a flugelhorn player. But he plays a few other things. They actually even list him as the cowbell player.
Nice.
Especially the guys who's the cowbell player. It's Chuck himself. But the quartet consists of Chuck Mangione, Jerry either Niewood or Nywood, Joel DiBartolo, and Ron Davis. I had never really heard of any of them. When I looked at it, I thought the Chuck Mangione name sounded kind of familiar. And I've been trying to get into a little bit more like jazz and stuff recently, and it was only a few dollars, so I figured why not give it a shot. We listened to side 1. I thought it was fine. I enjoyed what I heard of it. It's pretty good. He plays the flugelhorn, but there's a lot of sounds like maybe a piccolo or some flute.
A lot of horn instruments in this for sure.
Horn instruments, maybe clarinet, a little bit of saxophone, so decent amount of percussion. Pretty interesting, but that's one of the ones we got today. One of the ones Sean picked out was, I'll let you explain this.
The Spinners From Here to Eternally. It's I don't really know anything about this one yet. It just has a really, really dope cover of like a lady with a guitar made of like some sort of lizard skeleton, and the actual strap she's holding on to her shoulder with it, like it's like a snake, which is pretty cool. She's got like dragon wings. She's got a dragon behind her. It looks pretty cool. I'm hoping it's like a jazzy psychedelic type of thing. I looked up a little bit of the music, and it seems kind of soulful, funky maybe. So I'm hoping it's pretty good. I think this might actually all be like references, not of course not the fucking skeleton guitar and the snake strap, but I think it's all references to like Greek mythology, because this dude looks like fucking what's her name, like Kython or whatever,
like Goro.
Oh yeah, right, like Black Goro.
And my second selection is kind of staying along the same lines, was called Back with Basie, Count Basie, obviously. This says or hit performances of the 60s. Sorry, I had to move the plastic wrap a little bit, because the original Kmart sticker is still on here. For anybody that wants to know, it was for sale for 88 cents. What year this came out? I would assume probably like the 70s, since it's from the 60s. The fact that it was 88 cents, but that's fantastic. I paid more. If I paid like, I got ripped off, and I paid like 2.5 times that. But it's basically it's Count Basie. I think just his basic band with some more of his hits from the 60s, like it's called. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but I thought it sounded pretty interesting. And again, like I said, I'm wanting to do a little more jazz and kind of bluesy stuff. So Count Basie, from things I've heard in the past of his, can't really go wrong with. So I figured for $2, can't really miss. So that was my I gave it a shot.
My second choice was Good King Bad by George Benson. I don't know anything about this one either, but I'm hoping it's like an R&B joint. It seems pretty. I don't know. I don't know what to make of like the cover or anything. It's like, I don't know, just some black dude with his arm up, looking at his wrist. I guess maybe he's got like a wrist pain or something. He's checking it out. But it's probably going to be like very. Just look at the cover. It's probably going to be very like serious. Maybe like maybe it was like a TV show, because it says the theme from Good King Bad, so maybe it's like a movie or a TV show or something. Maybe it's like one of those old blaxploitation movies. But I'm hoping it's pretty good.
My next one is this is one I actually know. Elton John, Breaking Hearts. There are multiple songs on it that I'm familiar with, but the two main ones that I know are Who Wears These Shoes and Sad Songs. Which Sad Songs is one of my favorite Elton songs.
You're like the biggest Elton John fan I know.
Yeah, well, probably. He's one of my top artists as far as like somebody asked me what my favorite musicians are. He's definitely one of the top couple ones that comes up. It's probably like the 6th or 7th album I own. I thought about getting a couple more while I was there because they were on sale. They were in the used album section.
Yeah, dude, there were like a bunch of them in that row.
But I found a couple other ones that I wanted to get instead, and I was like, well, I've already got like 6 Elton albums. Let's get a little variety here. But this one's not bad. I said the record itself's in pretty good shape, and 10 songs, which for a record's not bad. But like I said, it's got two of my favorite Elton John songs on it, and there's only $3. So again, how can you lose? Although I like the picture on the back of Bernie Taupin. He looks like vampire.
Oh yeah, it's very dark and
like he's wearing dark clothes and it's black and white.
Sitting in the shadow.
Yeah, it looks like he's wearing like a black suit, with a black shirt, like a dark tie of some kind. It's very dark and shadowy.
All right, last choice for me, Rhythm Heritage, Sky's the Limit. They're the people who did the Starsky and Hutch theme. And a lot of the music is like that, like funky kind of
funky R&B.
Yeah, like there's like a crime happening around the corner, shit like that. So, I'm pretty excited about this one. It's got like the band members on the back. There's 11 of these guys. It looks like, holy shit.
This is a pretty normal thing for us. We I don't have a lot of cash, so when we go to the record store, it's usually look through the used stuff and the clearance stuff. And
I think that's where you find some of the stuff.
But we found a lot of stuff that we've liked in there, and most of the time it's stuff that neither one of us have ever heard of. Like we've got one called Killer Joe.
Yeah, Killer Joe.
It's Art Blakey and
it's like George Takahashi, something like that.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. Something very similar, but I'd never heard either one of them. And again, I think it was one that cost us like $2.
Yeah, it was nothing. It was cheap.
We've listened to that as much as probably any other album we've got, and that's kind of our thing. As a kid, I did it a lot with like movies. I'd go to the video store and they had the new releases that were like $3, and they had the old ones that were $1. And so I'd much rather have 3 movies than one.
Right, exactly.
So I would go in there and I'd get me and my buddies would pick out a couple we had heard of, and then we'd get like a third or fourth one that we had never heard of before. We would just randomly pick something out, and a lot of times those were the best ones. But so my last choice here is the most expensive album of the day at $7. It's one that probably most people will have heard of or at least be familiar with, but Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen. believe I had this on cassette when I was a kid, on the vinyl. But I mean, it's got several of his bigger songs in it. Born in the USA, Downbound Train, I'm on Fire, I'm on Fire, Glory Days, Dancing in the Dark. Glory Days is, one of my favorites of the kid guitar, beyond the baseball player. And basically, that's like talking about your glory days back in the day, and you were still, you're still an athlete and things like that.
I'm getting there, but
yeah. So I'm beyond it. So yeah, that was what we got today. We got a ton of other albums. We probably got at least I'd say between the two of us, but maybe a few more than that. But we already had to expand the storage space for it. But yeah, that was pretty much it. I don't know if I've got anything else for today. Do you have anything?
That's about it. Talk about what I want to talk about. Like I'm always down to like talk about comic book shit. So usually, if we do watch a comic book thing, it's going to be like what I'm going to talk about. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, we've got we'll figure out what we're going to do for our next one. Probably be a week or so before we get back on the air because we want Fish to be able to be here and. He works mornings and I work nights, so it's difficult because most of the time I'm ready to do it. It's like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and
just wants to go to bed.
Sean's fine with that, but Fish usually has to work at like 10 o'clock the next morning, so it's tough for him. But hopefully on one of my days off next week we can get one done, during the day or early evening, so we can get one knocked out with Fish back. But anybody that's listened to all three of our episodes, you've noticed that. After episode 2, we switched from SoundCloud to YouTube because for the time being, we can't afford to pay the fee for unlimited storage space because the monthly fee is a little hefty and the lower plan that they offer is pointless because even with that plan, we'd only be able to put like one more podcast on there and we'd be done with our storage space anyway. So for the time being, we're going to stick with YouTube. Things work out and we can afford the SoundCloud, then we may start using both formats and get back on there. But for the time being, just keep looking for us on YouTube.
And before anyone comments, I'm very well aware of the problems with YouTube. I'm gonna deal with it. I'm gonna take care of it. It's not gonna. We're not gonna worry about advertising shit right now or getting our shit demonetized or getting our shit blocked or whatever. We're just gonna upload it. Be fine.
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Yeah,
see, to the point, it's so fine that I'm not even. I don't even have to bother explaining it to him because it's already taken care of.
Yeah. So guys, keep listening and hope you enjoyed it. And
until next time,
be back soon.